hardest part of this story that I have to tell is the embarrassment of explaining to whoever's listening the sexual aspect and nature of what I participated in for roughly a year. Um, because what it causes me to do is contemplate um, my own participation in activities that somebody couldn't have paid me to do. You couldn't pay me to do. Um, I'm sending nudes. Like, the whole world is probably used to it. You know what I mean? I'm not. I never did anything like that before, and it culminated in a couple of videos too that were fairly graphic. So um, that's not something I'm comfortable saying. It's part of my teshuva with the Creator, um, and the reason I'm willing to come here and say it is because it is part of the truth, and omitting the truth is a lie, because the fact of the matter is this. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. The world is so much more mystical, occult, paranormal, whatever you want to refer to it as, than we have been led to believe. And the things that I'm saying, the reason that they were able to take place, I believe, through phone. We have texting capabilities. We've had them for years. There were a couple phone conversations involved as well, with voices changed. And so, again, you have to understand that I was being led. It was like someone else's, if people wake up as a different, like, say they have a life after death experience, and then they wake up and they're able to play the piano, or they know German, or whatever the case may be. When I woke up in the spring of the 2020 and started remembering my life after death experience, as well as feeling the Creator speaking to me in these different ways that I've been explaining, it's like, you have somebody else with you. It's like being with a partner. And if people can have invisible best friends, well, by golly, I can have the biggest, best invisible friend in the whole wide world. So, the pictures that I was sending, it was just a big part of the story. The reason is this. If you think about the song's Private Joy, you're my private joy. The Creator told me in the afterlife that because He is the Creator and every one of our souls have a purpose, part of what I had been, part of my purpose in this world, my soul purpose, was to not only seek God, seek Prince Rogers Nelson, 30 years for God, 40 years for Prince Rogers Nelson, as we know it in the music, but it was also to be forgive me for saying, like a toy, a private toy, because in this mystical occult world that we have, everything that we do, everything that we say, every act, it has to be spoken for in the heavens. And so I can't speak for the Creator, nor would I ever try to put words in His mouth, but He said that He's been, because He's ancient, because He's been through so many life cycles, because He's been medically induced comas and freaking crazy paranormal possession situations with MK Ultra drugs, and super induced comas, and all kinds of crazy psychopharmacological neuroscience experiments, which they're trying to replicate His intellect, the Creator's intellect, at CERN. I mean, something like that. That's what I've been led to believe. So because He is so ancient and been through so many life cycles, and those life cycles, I explained, have something to do with, like, war times, World War I, World War II, and if and when there are judgments for any kind of act that might seem like a World War III, or in fact be, or any kind of fake holographic rapture scenario, Blue Beam Project peanut butter logic served on a bed of lies scenario that the government might want to come up with and point the finger at our creator and say, oh man, to protect you, you have to take this RFID chip. Anyway, he said because of all the life cycles, he was very ancient and very tired in the mind. Because I explained yesterday in part 4 that in the Garden of Eden, things were very sexual, and things have been very sexual in the world. And just to maintain a certain interest in being alive, that this is what he said. He said that when I woke up in the spring of 2020 and I would be able to hear him, that he would be like he was coming alive again, as you know, as he had never before. Whatever he woke up, and the first thing that he was going to remember was going to be of a sexual nature or something like that. And the world that we're in now, starting in 2020, I've explained the breakdown, the Build Back Better, the whole plan, is darker. Our society has fallen to such a dark place. Humanity is in such a dark place, and they fail to recognize it for the most part, or even look for the cure to it. But we've fallen to such a dark place that he needed to be, he needed me to be here in this dark place, to be like a light, like this messenger to people about Teshuvah, not just this weird ass story that I'm telling. But I don't, in the way that there is a world, there's worlds, there's layers, and there's worlds. And in the Creator's world, he made it, so he made the beginning, the middle, and the end, and he sees it all at once. So he was able to make souls for certain needs. Like, so that's how we're all part of the Creator, like we're all his altars, if you will. If he needed a Joseph in the world, a righteous man named Joseph, he put him there. If he needed a Noach there, he put him there. If he needed a Miriam in the world, he put her there. He puts souls in the world, and the righteous ones, they tend to be the most broken ones. You know why they're broken? They're broken because then the Creator can use them. They're malleable. They understand the force that is outside themselves, that is the Creator, and they don't try to take that credit for themselves. And that's what I'm doing. So I try to say these things as respectfully as I can, because it's all part of the truth. And so as part of my soul purpose, I was made as this soul that would be willing to do the things that I did, willing to do the pictures, the videos. That's why I was a dancer. That's why I had lived certain promiscuous lifestyle, because until you live through certain things, you don't have the wisdom to not go back. The experience was very painful, and I cried a lot. I also got to feel beautiful a lot. More beautiful than I ever have in my entire life. And I cried some more. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and I wondered who I was. I think this is actually the very first picture that I sent. Then this other picture of Prince showed up online, so I made a collage. I sent some straight up goofy photos and fancied myself the guitar. I was told to be her, so I was her. She is a part of me. I would be a liar if I said it wasn't fun. You notice in some of these close-ups, I look like I'm under some kind of spell, yet I'm not. And no, I'm not on drugs. I was compelled to do these things, never afraid to show the truth. You know what I'm saying? She is me. I started to look different to me. I saw someone else in my eyes, someone I recognized. Contemplative and introspective I was, feeling a little bit crazy too. It's like I was Lucille Ball or someone playing a part built just for me. I was feeling pretty supreme. We were a team. We are a team. The pictures went on, and I think you get the point. I lost almost 35 pounds that year doing nothing else but not eating and focusing on these pictures and the phone calls and the writing and the hearings and the drawings. No mistaking the happiness. It got pretty festive. 49, but I felt like a big kid. I think I'll stop now. You probably get the picture. I told you earlier that when I would take pictures around the house that this brown area would appear right here, and some will jump in and be photography experts and say, oh, it's this or this, but there was other things that would occur in my photos too that have no explanation. This was my ceiling fan in the background. No other explanation, just my ceiling fan. Here's another picture of that fan, but that's how it photographed. I was even taking pictures of myself in a dark closet. Here, I resembled Cheech Marin. Here, my whole face turned upside down. Eyes are on the bottom. Here, I turned into Bob Ross. Speaking of pictures, this one appeared on my back screen door window. Here's one I can't explain. A screenshot of me in the room alone. Or so I thought I was alone, playing music. Somehow here, during this screenshot, I appear to be holding the number 7. I have nothing but dark circles for eyes, and the 7 looks to be gelatinous. Here, again, alone in the room, the hands, one big, one small, appear gelatinous. The mouth is wide open, like a fish, and the eye sockets are semi-wet black. I was in the room singing and making music, singing Purple Rain, alone, and this is a screenshot of that video. Can't explain it any other way. In the room, alone, making music. So, aside from being, not afraid to send the photos, I had the writings and the maps going on. I was seeing strange things in my photos in the background. I was praying. I was speaking with the Creator. I felt by then that he, the one the world knows as Prince Rogers Nelson, was with me, and I didn't quite understand the connection at this time. I didn't understand what a strange reality I seemed to be living in, because we were all under lockdown. Now get this, I wouldn't go anywhere because we had to wear masks. So it's really important to know something. You might think I'm crazy, you might think it's cool, but when I was in the afterlife, I spoke with the Creator, because I think this whole COVID thing is part of a timeout plan to find out where people's hearts really are. And we talked about a plan in which I wouldn't leave the house, because he needed to be able to school me, indoctrinate me to his ways and teach me his wisdom. And to do that, I had to be on lockdown. Now, it was very important, because if you watch my other videos, you know that one of the ways in which the Creator showed himself to me, when he showed himself to me as being in the Prince Rogers Nelson body, he was in an electric chair with a black hood over his face. And because of that hood, because of who I am, I can't put a mask. I never have been able to, and I never will. So what I mean to say is, in the afterlife, we had a discussion about what I would never do, and one of those things was wear a mask. And so I know it sounds crazy, but it's all part of this story, because even though the world is like, what's going on, I'm trying to let you know that it's all still in the Creator's control. And also, what happened to me moment by moment, so that you can know, yeah, I'm a little bit crazy, but I'm just crazy enough to tell the truth. That's why I was chosen. So basically late summer, fall, winter, with the festive pictures, up until April 30th, 2021, those activities carried on, and as they carried on, they got more and more explicit and graphic, and there's only one that I would have ever done anything like that for, and I want to make that clear because I don't know if any of this ever comes up to bite me. I just want to be clear about who I am and what I stand for and why I did the things that I did. Um, so it's super important to know, you guys, it wasn't just the pictures. It wasn't just some freaky deaky relationship. I was texting constantly over the year, and when I say constantly, I mean constantly. I actually begged for time to put my phone down because it was going off constantly, and if I wasn't on the phone texting with William Sherman, the one I knew to be Creator Prince, then I was talking on the phone with John Johnson for a couple times, hours at a time, because I thought that they were the same, and I was just participating in this crazy mind experiment. In my soul, which I listened to explicitly, was telling me to go. And so that's what I was doing. Listening to my inner voice, not anything that was going on in the outer world. It just, my son would go to the store for me. Other people ran my errands. I stopped going everywhere. I was doing all the research, all the maps, all the drawings, studying YouTube videos, studying Circle of the Fists, playing the piano, reading the Beautiful Ones book, reading about mountains, doing countless writings on Google Docs, handwritten documents, which I've shown you guys. It's like I turned into a machine, and the Creator was living inside of me to put his output out. So he told me he was going to use me as his vessel, his house, and I didn't know it then, but I know it now, that that's what we agreed to in the afterlife, because it was either I bring it to the world or it was going to be taken and misused and never seen again. So I'm proud and honored and happy to be sharing the truth. So the pictures, you guys, again, I want to reiterate something. Before you think that Elizabeth is just some kind of freak, again, I had a soul purpose. I know right now, I look a lot different than those pictures, and that's cool with me. I don't usually wear makeup on the regular basis, and I'm not that girl anymore. This whole experience has changed me and made me grow, changed me drastically and made me grow gray hairs. But yeah, no, you guys, let me just say this, because it's who I am. I know that I've been told my whole life that I'm one of the pretty girls, and I've been told I'm beautiful, and the thing is, I never really truly felt that. I felt I had crooked teeth. I have a bridge now, I in the past, I just was never confident. I felt like there were many Googles and Oogles of women and stuff that were way prettier than me. But the thing is, I never compared myself to them, because I knew that God made us all, individual to be who we are. If we wanted a bunch of clones, we would all be the same. Moreover, not to mention that in the fashion industry, the models are made to look like boys because, they're all gay. So, and I mean no offense to gay people, it's just that it's all part of the story of illusion. So I have comfort with my womanhood, with my truth, with how I used my womanhood, with how I was asked to use it. I came outside, you can hear little kids playing, yay. And anybody who knows me in that way knows why I would be chosen. That's really all I'm going to say. I'm good at what I do, and I was chosen for a reason, to be the messenger, to be the private joy, to be who I am here talking to you. Now, my heart is on the verge of tears because it's all a very whacked out, weird situation. But so those things went on. The pictures went on. They were very, very graphic. I only showed you some to show you how much weight I had lost, that I came into a wonderful hairdo. Somebody was willing to come to my house. It was about doesn't matter how much it was a lot. And then when I would get myself ready for those pictures, you guys, this is truly interesting. The Creator, I could feel his hand. he would be with me and taught me how to do my makeup. And because I've always been, just kind of average, I thought. And when he helped me to do, after I got my hair colored, he would literally put my eyebrows on for me and show me it was like an artist was doing me, like doing my makeup. And I learned it's when I talk about the possession and I talk about somebody else and the creator being in me and talking to me and using me, that's why I look so different in the pictures. Not only the weight loss, but the way that the makeup and the hair were. And I know it sounds silly, but it's my life story. And in the afterlife, he told me he was going to help me do that. He told me he was going to take me to Maui. He told me and showed me all kinds of things that include myself and my son's soul purpose in this situation. So at this point, I'm just trying to get as downright funky, truthful as I can while not omitting anything. Before I move on, I need you to understand something. The pictures and video I sent were only one way. I wasn't getting them back the other way. In fact, the pictures that I was getting were few and far between, and they looked like 65-year-old men who I would have never given the time of day to. However, I was being made to see or could see other images within the photos. I know that sounds crazy, but it's really the only thing that I can say. I know that the person I was seeing in the photo wasn't the person within the soul. And so if that ever needs explanation, if anybody ever looks up John Johnson on the internet and finds some old overweight baldish kind of dude, and or William Sherman, somebody 60 something, kind of rotund tummy, this kind of thing, these names were texting me. But this is the thing, what I was told about how far our generation has fallen, one of the things that has helped us to fall is technology. And now people and things and energies and technicolor children in Piccadilly Square can hide behind the internet and pretend to be somebody they're not. But it also allowed the creator to contact me in this way using telecommunications. If Elon Musk can put SpaceX together, well, you better believe that he learned how from Hashem. So when I say I was contacted via phone and I participated in all these things, that's what I meant. Nobody is going to say otherwise. When I show you all the gematria, all the math, all the Hebrew, all the everything, if you watch the other videos, you'll see I'm not just crazy. I just want to fulfill my soul purpose, no matter the cost, no matter the embarrassment, no matter the glory, if any. So these things went on until April 30th of 2021. Now, what happened on April 30th, 2021 is pretty traumatic, and I'm going to go inside because the festive children makes it hard to think, and my phone is dying. So I'm going to go inside, and we'll continue this conversation.